Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Golic and Wingo with you on a Friday morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN News as the Australian Open coverage continues on ESPN2. And when their coverage is done, we will be back with you on the television side on ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and we've got a great lineup of guests today in just a few minutes. Sal Paolantonio, our intrepid ESPN NFL reporter, will join us as he takes on the pulse of the city in Philadelphia as they are playing a home game as an underdog one more time.
Again.
In their quest to get to another Super Bowl, which would be their third in franchise history. A.J. Bouye, the outstanding free agent signing, the cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, will join us at 7:45. Darren Woodson in studio will join us at 8:30 talking about the significance of playing on Conference Championship Sunday and what he as a defender might be looking for. If someone like Tom Brady has an injury to his hand and the things that he will be trying to pick up on right away.
Right.
Jeff Darlington will join us in the 9 o'clock hour, as will Teddy Atlas, our boxing analyst, to talk about the fights coming up this weekend. But we've got a lot to get to, and let's start with what's trending now. And Mike, we had a lot of fun with this in the last hour about the NBA All-Stars. They were announced on Thursday. The starters were, and as the leading vote getters in their respective conferences, LeBron and Steph will serve as the captains and select the rest of the teams, but they're doing it via a secret draft.
Yes, they are. So the starters in the East, Kyrie, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. In the West, Steph, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins. So now it's Steph and LeBron picking from those 8. So forget conference affiliation now. They can just pick whoever they want. But it's a secret pick now because it seems that players might have had their feelings hurt depending on where they were picked. So I think this is a waste of time now. I don't think there's anything to it because God knows how they'll put the team together for real if they manufacture it now. I don't know. So I think they tried to do something cool. The NHL did this from 2011 to 2015. The players bought into it, enjoyed it. The last pick actually got a car. It doesn't seem like the NBA players or some of them want to play along with this one. And it's a shame because to me it's now kind of a worthless thing to say you're going to do it this way. For a league that I think has done so many things right, I guess that means you just can't, bat 1,000% all the time. So you got to miss on a few. I think they missed this one. Interesting side note, Joel Embiid, the first Sixers All-Star since Allen Iverson, was interesting. It was back in 2014. He's out there tweeting, was trying to get with this famous girl, and she said, "Come back to me when you're an All-Star." Yeah. That girl was believed to be Rihanna. Well, Embiid is now an All-Star, so he was certainly asked, hey, now that you're an All-Star, you going to go back and see if you can, get that date with Rihanna? Embiid's response, she denied me back then. There's no reason to go back to her.
All right, Joe.
Oh, how about that?
Then he added, there's a lot of pretty women out there, but there's only one Rihanna.
Only one Rihanna.
Both of those things can be true. Mm-hmm. Both of those things are true. By the way, he's the first All-Star starter.
For
the Sixers since Iverson. Okay. Yeah, we continue with This is Important. How about this? ESPN reports the union has rejected Major League's pace of play proposals. The Players Association said no to the league's proposal to institute a 20-second pitch clock and limits on the mound visits in an effort to speed up play. But Rob Manfred has also said out, the Major League Commissioner, that, look, they're going to go ahead and do some of this anyway.
Yeah, the meetings, the next owners' meetings are January 30th. But I think, in between the conference games and the Super Bowl, we have those couple of weeks. I think we'll definitely look to get a baseball person on next week because, that was baseball trying to work with the union. Union didn't want to do it. Now baseball can say, okay, listen, we tried. You don't want to do it. We're doing it anyway, and see where that's going to lead to. It does sound like we're going to see a pitch clock in Major League Baseball next season, or this upcoming season.
Which is interesting because the average time between pitches last year was 22 seconds. So they want to do it at 20. So, in your head you think, oh, it's just 2 seconds, but 2 seconds per pitch, per batter, adds up significantly over a 9-inning game.
It does, and you can just kind of keep the game going. I saw the pitch clock in action when I went to Dunkin' Donuts Stadium here with the minor league team because they have it.
The Yard Goats.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great
stadium,
setup
by
in
the
downtown
way.
Hartford.
But I saw the clock in action, and it does keep it moving. And there sometimes depending on when you turn it off and when you start the clock and all that. But it's something they want to try. So, and that's the beauty about baseball is you can try stuff. They've been doing it in the minors for a bit, so you can see how it all works before you implement it into MLB.
And again, they had some success getting it down in 2015, but both in 2016 and 2017, game time went up to back over average of 3 hours. And here's the money quote in the ESPN.com article from Rob Manfred. My preferred path is a negotiated agreement with the players. But then he added, but if we can't get an agreement, we're going to have rule changes in 2018 one way or another.
Right.
So it's coming. It's just a matter of how contested it is going to be. And we'll finish up with this. The city of Philadelphia's police department is bracing for the reaction to Sunday's NFC Championship game, win or lose. They sent out a memo telling businesses that they will be closed, to make sure to secure their gates and not leave anything outside the storefront. They also warned bars to use plastic cups instead of glass bottles.
You know, and quite honestly, the game, the fans in Philly, that's a shame to have to do. Let's be honest. That is a shame to have to do because whether you win or lose, a way of either celebrating or being bummed about something to destroy, loot, or be violent in any way is ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous. So, in all honesty, this is a damn shame that you even have to say it. That you even have to tell people, hey, there's a chance you're going to get some real knuckleheads out there, so make sure you're locked up, make sure you don't leave anything out front, and that. And like I said, that's a shame. It's a shame you can't just celebrate without destroying something or doing damage somewhere, or be bummed you lost without doing something as well. So while I know sometimes we have our fun here, I think it's a bit of a bummer that you even have to put out a statement like that.
Well, if you read the statement, it was put out there on Twitter. Basically, it's like, look, we're not sure we can protect your businesses. So that'll be. Look, hopefully, it doesn't come to that.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, hopefully, it doesn't come to that at all. All right, for more on that and everything else that's going on, let's bring in the man who knows the heartbeat of Philadelphia better than anyone. That's our own intrepid NFL reporter, Sal Paolantonio. Sal, good morning. Happy Friday before the championship game. Before we get into the game, your thoughts on the memo that the Philadelphia police have put out there already?
Well, I think it's a good idea. I mean, just putting everybody on a warning footing and saying, listen, it's going to get crazy one way or the other. Make sure that you protect your business. That seems like it's the prudent thing to do. I've covered Philadelphia cops for 30 years, and they're some of the toughest cops out there. So. And I've seen championships here 10 years ago with the Phillies. There wasn't any incidents at all. They had a couple million people for the parade on Halloween for the Phillies right down Broad Street. And no business that I can recall was even damaged one iota. So, it's the prudent thing to do. I don't know if you guys saw this in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, but this is really laugh out loud, funny and crazy. A reporter for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune put out tips for Vikings fans going to Philadelphia. Know how to behave for your own good. Now, this is some crazy stuff. If you want to wear Vikings gear, get good seats. I've found people to be more respectful of opposing fans there. Regardless of where you sit, don't taunt anyone. Not a good idea. Cheer for your team, but not against the Eagles. If you order a cheesesteak, know how to order it properly. You don't want to be made fun of. That's classic, right, Michael?
Oh, I love that. That's the best part of that.
We've had presidential candidates coming to South Philly for what wit or wit out is when you order a cheesesteak, and then of course it goes viral and you lose half your votes. If Philly fans say they're cold, this is item number 4. Don't be pompous about how much colder it is in Minneapolis.
That is awesome.
Well, we'll find out just how much colder it is in Minneapolis in a couple of weeks.
That is awesome. All right, Sal. So to the game itself, and indeed,
by the way, just forget about if you're listen. I don't know how many people are listening in the great state of Minnesota right now. I'm sure a lot,
millions.
My advice, Trey, is don't wear Vikings gear to the game. Just don't
poke the bear.
Don't tempt the gods, please. Don't do it.
It's a shame because you should be able to wear your colors as long as you don't get belligerent out there doing it.
No, I have friends who come in from New York all the time, Giants fans, and I'm always like, listen, don't wear your Eli Manning jersey if you're coming to the link. Especially don't stroll around the parking lot. I mean, once you get into the stadium, fine, I get it. You can take off your jacket and wear your jersey, but you can't stroll around the link parking lot with your Terrell Owens jersey and You remember when T.O. came back here? They tore the jerseys off people and lit them on fire in a big bonfire in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. It's always can be more drama in the stands and in the parking lot than on the field at times. That's for sure.
Real quickly to that point, Sal, there's a guy that used to work for us on NFL Live. He now works for NBC Sports, Comcast Sportsnet in Philadelphia. His name is Aaron Talaznik, and he works on that 700 level show. And one day as an experiment, he's a diehard Eagles fan. He put on a Cowboys jersey and started walking around the parking lot outside the link just to get the reactions of fans, of Eagles fans.
Did he make it out alive?
He made it out alive. That was the over-under, what I get through without being physically harmed. And then they realized it was all a bit for the 700 level show. They're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. So to your point, that is a very, very well thought out path to take.
And Trey, the thing is, there were a lot of quotes coming out of the Vikings locker room yesterday about, we're not worried about the fans and the atmosphere and the climate. I mean, Michael, Michael, tell people how different it is in Philadelphia. There's a level of creative venom that you just don't get anywhere else.
No,
there
is, Sal. But as a player, why should they're not going to be concerned about it? I'm with them. I wouldn't be concerned. I mean, going to play in Oakland in the black hole, you don't let that affect you. But the fans certainly can get boisterous, and I'm sure they will. How about from the player side? Are the players still really hanging on to this underdog thing, or is that kind of settled down a little bit? Absolutely not. In fact, I reported on SportsCenter very early in the week, Michael, that Doug Peterson got in front of the team meeting and said, outside noise, all the clutter, get rid of it. We're not going to win this game strictly on emotion. We have to focus on our execution and our game plan and preparation to beat the Vikings. And it has really resonated because their practice, as I reported on Sports today, their practice on Wednesday and yesterday was, I was told, at a very high intensity level, that the coaches were really hammering home, cleaning up the mistakes that they had against Atlanta. Those three special teams mistakes, you don't survive them in a month, less in a half of football in the postseason. And, as I reported, Doug Peterson talked to Dave Phipp, the special teams coach, on Sunday and on Monday about how important it is to pay attention to details and get on players about knowing the situation.
You're exactly right. Sal Paolantonio with us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. And Sal, to your point, the Eagles have to play a cleaner game of football than they did against the Atlanta Falcons, because you mentioned the sloppiness on special teams. Look, they got lucky in a couple of situations that the ball literally bounced their way. The fumble at the goal line where it just sort of was sitting there for Nick Foles and he fell on it, and they initially ruled a touchdown, and then of course it was overturned, and the next play LeGarrette Blount takes that in. And then there was the play before the half where there was a Foles overthrow, and it goes right to Keanu Neal, the safety of the Falcons, who proved once and for all why he's not a wide receiver, as the ball bounces off his knee and goes straight into the arms of Torrey Smith, and that play allows them to kick a 53-yard field goal at the half, which, by the way, if they didn't get, the Falcons, all they would have needed was a field goal at the end of the game instead of a touchdown to win. They were -2 on the turnover differential. You rarely win with a -2 turnover differential in the NFL playoffs. How important has he stressed, Doug Peterson, to his team about playing a cleaner game of football?
Yeah, there's no question, Trey, that it's very difficult when you have three special teams gassed like they did and you put the ball on the ground. It's nearly impossible. But let me flip the script on you a little bit. And if the ball doesn't hit Brian Bremen's derriere and the Falcons get that short field, I think the Falcons are hard-pressed to score against Jim Schwartz's defense in that game and might not have scored a touchdown. I think the Eagles' defense right now is, while they have gotten accolades, and while the numbers are there and we all know the numbers, what Schwartz is preaching is the team's not going to score. I think the Eagles' defense is one of the more underrated units going in to this championship Sunday. Schwartz preaches, all right, they'll get their yards, whatever they want to do. We'll get some yards after the catch. We understand that, but they're not getting in the end zone. And I think the formula is very simple, and it's working. And it's pretty interesting because they're not a blitzing team per se, but that safety blitz that he dialed up on first and after a major special teams gaffe when Elliott kicked the ball out of bounds and the Falcons had 1st and 10 on the 40. And I talked to Matt Ryan after the game, and he told me he had Julio Jones screaming on a post route wide open, would have gone for 6. But Jim Schwartz dialed up a safety blitz on the weak side, which the Eagles never, ever do. And I don't think they did it all year. But Schwartz had the presence of mind to call that safety blitz on the weak side. Matt Ryan did not see it coming. It was a free, clean rush right at Matt Ryan, and they got him down on the ground. And I think it changed the momentum in the second half.
All right, Sal. Well, we are looking forward to this one. I mean, it should be a great win in Philly. The fans are going to be ready to go. I'm sure the players will as well. So you enjoy it, and I'm sure we'll talk to you after.
We'll be playing tackle football in South Philadelphia before, during, and after the game.
There is no. Hey, look, that's the sport of Philadelphia. Is actual tackle football.
That's exactly right.
Sal, as always, we appreciate it, my friend.
Sal.
Thanks so much.
See you guys.
All right, to his point, I mean, we are in an interesting time here. You know, this is such a offensive-minded era in football. All the rules are toward the offense, but you look at the teams that are playing. You have the Minnesota Vikings, the number 1 overall defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 2 overall defense. The Philadelphia Eagles, the 4th overall defense. And then the great job that the Patriots have done after giving up 300 passing yards to the first 6 quarterbacks they faced, which had never happened in NFL history, to be one of the most dominant defenses down the last 7 or 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and you look at, and these defenses, not big blitzers.
No.
You know, when you look at, especially when we're going to get into the Jacksonville game and the amount of pressure they can get off the 4-man rush and not have to blitz. So that is huge for the defense when you're able to cover with 7. Interesting format. Remember, Case Keenum and Nick Foles were teammates with the Rams.
With the Rams.
You know the last time that happened? The last time. Former quarterback teammates head-to-head in playoffs in the last 30 years. Last time that happened, 2007, divisional, Seattle against Green Bay. Matt Hasselbeck, Brett Favre.
Is that we're getting the ball, we're going to score? Is that one? Was it that game?
I don't know.
I think it might not have been.
The time before that?
Yeah, I think it was 2005. I think
that was 2007. The time before that, 2003?
Yeah.
Matt Hasselbeck, Brett Favre.
There you go.
Same 2 teams. Before that, 96, Jim Harbaugh with the Colts, Mike Tomczak with the Steelers. And the last 30 years, the first one of that was 95, Rodney Peete in Philly and Troy Aikman for the Cowboys.
Rodney Peete and Troy. I forgot. Yeah, Rodney Peete played a couple of years for the Dallas Cowboys, no question. Look, it's going to be really interesting. And I think defenses will dominate all weekend long in these conference championship games, including that Jacksonville defense, which dubbed itself Saxonville. 2 double-digit sack games in the regular season, which ridiculous. How many sacks do you think they have? How many do they need to have? We'll tell you when we play over-under coming up next. We are living in a material world. Madonna, early 80s. I got to say, I did not see that musical selection coming.
No.
Did not see that
Are you just
coming.
A material girl?
I'm living well. We'll just move
okay.
on. All right. Yes, this is what Cliff is wonderful. You never know what's coming in his musical bag of tricks. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. All phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And again, A.J. Bouye, the outstanding free agent signing by the Jacksonville Jags, will join us a little bit later. But now it's time, about 15 minutes he's going to join us. Right. But first, we're going to do a little over-under, brought to you by Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Run your business from your mobile phone. See how it works at grasshopper.com.
Over, under, with Golic and Wingo.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
We've talked a lot about the defenses.
Yes, we have.
Display on Conference Championship Sunday. So the over-under is at 0.5. The NFL teams to score 25 points this Sunday.
Wow. Again, first time since the conferences were created in 1970 that all 4 teams are in the top 5 in scoring defense.
Yeah. In an era where it's all about the offense.
Wow. So we're going to say who had and we just saw Jacksonville put up 45 last week. I know 6 were by their defense.
Well, they're going to probably have to get some on defense or special teams if they want to beat New England.
Could we say under on this and have nobody be 25? I mean, if you're going to say one gets over 25, are you thinking it's going to be New England?
Yes.
That gets it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means it'll probably not be New England. It'll probably be Philadelphia with Nick Foles, the way this playoffs has gone.
I'm going to buy into the defense and say under. Not one team hits 25, which I'm sure a lot of people are saying, oh, God, this is going to be boring football. Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah. No, the good defense is fun. You know what? Watch the Broncos defense against the number one scoring offense in Super Bowl 50.
Right.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
Was.
I mean, it wasn't fun if you're a Carolina fan.
No.
But they whooped up on that team.
So I'm going under.
You're
no
going
team.
under?
No teams.
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say that at least one team gets, 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. I'm going there. I will say at least. I had to do the math. How do we get there? I'm going to say at least one team.
Yeah, because 3 touchdowns and a field goal, you're 1 point short.
Yes, exactly. So, throw me a 2-point conversion in there. I had to make sure I got there with the right numbers.
They can't get 4 touchdowns. It's 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal.
I was told there would be no math.
There you go.
So I will go with the over on that one. Okay, next up, over under 2.5 sacks of Tom Brady by the Jaguars.
In his 3 home playoff losses, Brady has been sacked an average of 2.7 times per game. Going up against Saxonville, they were second only to Pittsburgh by 1, 56-55 in sacks for the season. As you mentioned, 2 times double-digit sacks in a game. And you're playing a quarterback that will hit the ground and say, I'll fight another day.
Exactly.
I'll give this one up and fight another day. So I'm going to take the over on that and say they get at least 3 sacks. They'll get the pressure. They can do it with 4. And as I said, combined with a quarterback that will hit the dirt and try and get you on the next play, I'll go over.
Yeah, he and Peyton Manning have perfected that.
Yes, they have.
Live to fight another day. There's no question about that. By the way, not only does that 2.7 times in a playoff loss where he's been sacked. If you go by the regular season, the Jaguars averaged over 3 sacks a game, 3.4. Now, some of that was skewed, obviously, by those 2 10-sack games. However, they've been pretty good in that department in the playoffs as well. If you look up what they've done, let's just go back to what they did against the Pittsburgh Steelers and how many sacks they had in that game. They didn't have a ton. They had, 1, 2. They only had 2 in the win over the.
But remember, it's
Steelers.
hits on the quarterback as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, hits usually get in double digits for them of knocking the quarterback down, and that has a big effect on Brady.
I will take the over as well. I'm going to, because Tom, like you said, is always not the most mobile guy to begin with. So I'm going to say that I'll take the over there on 2.5 sacks. Okay. Over under 150 rushing yards for the Jaguars in the AFC title.
Jags are averaging 160 yards in the playoffs, and
a lot of that's Bortles though.
Yeah. Well,
it is 88 yards in one game, 60 plus in the other one. I mean, he's been a big part of that running game.
He has. The 3 teams again to beat Brady and Belichick and Foxborough in the playoffs. They averaged 158 yards rushing. Jacksonville is going to win. They're going to need to control it that way with Leonard Fournette, Yeldon as well, getting his carries. I'm going to go over.
You're going to say over?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I think they're going to get it.
So you'll say they'll have that effective running game. The one thing I said going into the Tennessee game, the 2 headlines that you wouldn't read would be Derrick Henry or Delaney Walker power Titans to win over the Patriots.
Right.
The Patriots are going to take that away and make Marcus Mariota throw to other receivers to beat him. And it looked good early when he hit Corey Davis in the end zone for that first score, and after that, not a lot from Marcus Mariota and the wide receivers. I'm going to take the under here. I think they're going to make Blake Bortles beat him through the air. I think they're going to, and the ankle injury obviously to Fournette plays into this as well. I think they're going to stack the box against Fournette, and they're going to have guys that spy on the outside so Blake can't get out there and run for those first downs like he did not only against the Buffalo Bills, but also several times against the Steelers. If they win, it'll be Blake Bortles 2 or 3 touchdown passes versus no interceptions and a special teams or defensive score. So I'm going to take the under. I'm going to think the Patriots will do what they always do. Take away your best weapon and then make your second or third option beat you.
I got to believe Pittsburgh wanted to do the same thing and make Bortles beat him, and they rushed for 164 yards in that game, did Jacksonville. So
that's fair, but I will always take a Belichick scheme over anybody else.
I understand.
So you say the over there.
I say the over.
I'll take the under there. How about this one? Over under 0.5 rushing touchdowns for the Vikings.
Philly hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown at home all season.
Not
Minnesota
one.
Had 15 rushing touchdowns this season. That's one of those, you get down to the 1 yard line and just kind of run it in from there, but it counts as a rushing touchdown. I'm going to go over on that as well. I think they're going to get a rushing touchdown.
Getting one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you there because I think if Minnesota's going to win, they're going to win the time of possession and they're going to drag this thing out. And somewhere in that second half, third quarter, late third quarter, early fourth, if that Vikings offense has been on the field for a long time and that Eagles defense has been on there too long, I think they'll wear down. Right. I think they will get that rushing touchdown. I will also take the over there, which means we think there's going to be one rushing touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings. How about this one? And this might have changed dramatically from the start of the season to right around Christmas and changed again. Over under 90%, your level of confidence that the Cavs will reach the NBA Finals.
Oh, it's still over.
Still over.
Still over. Yep. By the playoffs, they get it worked out. It's a lot more games for Isaiah Thomas to get more acclimated to this offense. Kevin Love is going to get his shots, and the role players obviously need to do their things. I know they're having the chemistry issues. I know they've had players miss time, but by the time the playoffs roll around, I think they're going to do what they do.
You all right there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Well, just make sure that sounded real good. Right,
I go over.
You're going to go over.
Over.
I'm going to go under, and my opinion on this has changed. Because when they went through that first slump, I said they'll be fine, they'll get over it, and then they ripped off 18 of 19, and now they're in this funk. And you hear the stories coming out that we had Dave McMenamin, our ESPN Cavs reporter, saying the players in the locker room don't believe it can be fixed with the current group that they have, and are they willing to go get somebody at the trade deadline? But remember, if LeBron leaves, the Cavs have to have something in reserve, so maybe they don't trade that number one pick they got from the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to say under.
Mm-hmm,
I'm going to say under. I'm going to go under. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they got there. I'm still fairly confident, but 90% with the way the Celtics are playing, the way Toronto is playing. Are you
saying if they don't make it, who makes it? Do you think Boston, Toronto, Washington?
I think Boston makes it. I think because of the
Wouldn't
defense.
That be something?
The defense, yeah, with Kyrie.
Without Gordon Hayward, as well, losing him in game one against the Cavs.
And that would end a streak of 7 straight years that a LeBron team has made it to the NBA Finals. So I'll go under there.
Okay.
And then the last one, over under 3 hours, the average length of a Major League Baseball game this season if a pitch clock is implemented.
I'm going to go under. I'll go under on that. I'm just 3 hours and 5 minutes in average in 2017. If they do that, I'll say it'll cut enough time to go under.
I'll go under as well. Right. And again, they lasted a record of 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 11 seconds in 2017. All right, that was over under. Golic and Wingo with you on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Sunday in Foxborough. The Jacksonville Jaguars will attempt to go where this team has never gone before. They'll be in their third AFC Championship game. They'll try and do what only 2 other teams have ever done up in Foxborough, and that's walk out of there with a win in the postseason. And if they're going to win, a big part of that will be their defense. And a big part of that defense joins us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and that is cornerback A.J. Bouye, one of the great offseason signings by the Jacksonville Jaguars. A.J., thanks for being with us. Give us the mood of your team as we get closer and closer to Championship Sunday. How sort of not thinking about all the history and not caring about that is this Jacksonville team right now?
I think you kind of just nailed it on the head right there. We're not really caring. We're just more focused on what's ahead with the game plan. You've seen that started Monday, getting ready for this team. So if I could just sum up in one word, like I said, focus.
AJ, one of the things that you don't see a lot in the NFL is between draft picks and free agent signings, it all actually hit.
Right.
And you get to this point. So talk about that. You coming in after your 4 years in Houston, different free agents coming in, young players and draft picks coming in. Talk about how quickly you guys were able to gel together as teammates.
I really think that it just started in the off-season workouts, just the competition that we had, just working out, conditioning, everything like that. We started building the chemistry. I already knew what these guys were capable of because I've seen them play, and that just shows you a good job in the front office that they did of just doing the scouting just for the draft and for free agency. And I believe that's why we're all coming together.
Well, you're right. GM David Caldwell has done a great job getting not only you in free agency, but Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson. And to Mike's point, he's hit on so many draft picks. There were a bunch of them that were injured now, but they're all coming up and just swarming to the ball. Where is the confidence level of this team? Because we all talk a lot about Jalen Ramsey and the things that he likes to say. He's already predicted a win here and a win in the Super Bowl. What is the mindset of this team right now in terms of their confidence level going into this game?
We're locked in. The confidence is high. The only reason why I say that is because we know the work that we put in on and off the field, extra film room, extra preparation, whether we're with each other at somebody's house, is just watching film, just talking about football. Our coach is doing a great job of just getting us prepared. It's been all week, and that's how it's been all season. So when we get out there on the field, we're just out there having fun and making plays.
So we're talking to A.J. Bouye, cornerback for Jacksonville, as they go up to New England to play Tom Brady and the Patriots. What has been the talk in the locker room about the Tom Brady hand injury?
We don't pay attention to that. We just look at that like a distraction. We know that he'll be out there come Sunday. We're not worried about that. When he's out there on the field, he's 100% either way he goes. So everybody talks about the injury that Blake has, but you see how he's been throwing it. So we're not even worried about that. We're just focused on coming Sunday, making plays.
All right, well, A.J. Bouye with us on Golic and Wingo here. And you mentioned your quarterback, Blake Bortles, and he has been a guy that people have very strong opinions about one way or the other. He struggled in the passing game, obviously, in the playoff win over the Buffalo Bills. But then he hit the throws that he had to make in the Steelers game, and also kept a bunch of drives alive in both of those playoff games with his legs. What's the feeling in the locker room about your quarterback? We all have our opinions on how we see him. How does the team see Blake Bortles?
His confidence is getting higher and higher. And last week, like you said, he made some great throws, some great plays, and we've seen that from Blake, but it hasn't been all year. But just the consistency that he's been showing lately towards the end of the season, that's what's all that's mattered. And he looks good in practice. We just have a lot of confidence in him because without him, we wouldn't be where we are, too.
In looking at this team you're going to play in game planning, watching tape, and getting the game plan ready for a Tom Brady offense, in your mind, when you play him, a guy that's been around for so long and has accomplished so much, what's the biggest challenge he is to you guys? What does he do that could be the biggest threat to you guys?
He makes the right decisions all 60 minutes of the game. So the biggest thing for us is just try to force turnovers, just try to get them rattled and everything like that. Everybody's tried to do that every game, and some teams succeed, some teams haven't, but we just have to be consistent and just stay in the game all 60 minutes.
A.J. Bouye with us, the Jags Pro Bowl cornerback, one of their great offseason signings in free agency. Look, we all know what the Patriots want to do, A.J. They want to spread you out, and then they want to hit Gronk over the middle. And he is the guy that's the ultimate mismatch. So many people have tried different ways to try and slow him down and take him out of the game. How do you approach a guy that is that gifted physically? And what kind of things are you guys going to try and do to slow down what Gronk can do over the middle of the field?
We know that he's a challenge. You see it with every team that tries to cover him. He's always a mismatch and everything like that. But we got some athletes on our defense. So at the end of the day, we're just going to go out there and play football and make plays. No matter who's on them, like I said, we're going to go out there and play. We got confidence in our players. We see it every day in practice. We've seen it in the games consistently, so we know what we're capable of.
The confidence level very high on your team, especially on that defense, as well as some of the trash talking. Where do you fit in? Jalen Ramsey, Malik Jackson's had some things to say. Where do you fit in? Are you a trash talker out there? Where do you fit in this group?
Sometimes on the field, yeah, but when it comes to outside of that, you're not really going to hear me say anything. I told Jalen the other day, I just said, what you say out there in the media, that's what we all want to say. So, we'll just let you go ahead and talk about it.
Do you ever every once in a while say, Jalen, can we dial it back like 90 to 90%? I mean, do we really want to poke the bear when you're talking about the Patriots?
No, because at the end of the day, he's just being him. We accept him for who he is because we know the competitor he is and we know the work that he puts in every day in practice. And then he backs it up in the game, so no need to try to contain him and tell him to be something he's not.
Hey, you guys have walked the walk and talked the talk and walked the walk, 55 sacks, 21 interceptions, a fantastic defense. But for a minute, you've talked about your team. We'll give you a minute here to talk about your college team, Central Florida, where you went to school. How about the year they had?
Oh, man, they had an amazing year, man. I'm just glad they whooped up on another SEC team. I remember when I was there, we beat UGA. At the end of the day, they kind of remind me of our team. We're not going to get respect either way it goes. I don't see how you go undefeated and don't get enough respect, but they'll do it again next year, and then we'll be talking about them in the playoffs. So I'm definitely not worried about that.
Well,
That's
listen,
cool. Yeah.
Are you going to get your UCF National Championship shirt?
shoot, I got to go back to Orlando and go grab it then.
Hey, AJ, we appreciate you being with us. We know you got a meeting to run to. Thanks so much, and best of luck. And most importantly, have fun. Although I don't think that's going to be a problem for this team.
You guys
have fun and enjoy the moment Sunday in the AFC Championship game.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'll take care.
Thanks, AJ. AJ Bouye.
I mean, again, 21 interceptions. He led the way with 6. It's a group that's fun to watch. You know, a group that speaks its mind, no doubt about that. And listen, I have no problem with it when you can walk it. You know, you talk it and you walk it. It's not idle chatter. It's the way they are. And I know a lot of people said, well, yeah, as you said, you don't poke the bear, the Patriots. You shouldn't do that. Be yourself.
Yep.
I mean, don't change. Don't all of a sudden clam up. Just do you, man. You're gonna win being yourself. You're gonna lose being yourself. I don't have a problem with it at all. The way they go about their business.
Not only that, and I think at some point you have to have a discussion on who the executive of the year is in the NFL, and you can make a very compelling case that it's their general manager, David Caldwell. He, by the way, is a Bill Polian protege. He learned under Bill, who of course was a 6-time NFL executive of the year. But just look at what he's done over the last couple of years. The last 3 drafts. By the way, Jacksonville has ended the streak that had never happened before. They had drafted in the top 5 in 6 straight drafts, which means you've been terrible for 6 straight seasons. All right, they got Dante Fowler Jr., the defensive end. He's finally back from the ACL playing very well. Jalen Ramsey, home run. Leonard Fournette, home run. And then you look at the free agent signings over the last couple of years. We just had A.J. Bouye on. Then you had Calais Campbell this year, set a Jacksonville record for sacks in a single season the year before they got Malik Jackson. To your point, what you brought up with Bouye, Caldwell and his staff have done an amazing job of getting the right draft picks early and the right free agent.
Because, as I said, it doesn't pan out. I go back again to Washington when Dan Snyder was signing all kind of free agent checks, so you love him for doing that.
Right.
But the players, the Pro Bowl players from other teams they brought in never made another Pro Bowl when they got to Washington. So it's one thing to think you're getting the right player, but they don't pan out for you. It has panned out. So you're right. You look at management, at the front office, it's done a great job of finding those pieces.
Oh, and by the way, Miles Jack in the second round a year ago, because of an injury to him, they said, we think he's going to be fine, and he has been out there making plays for there. Coming up, we'll dive more into Conference Championship Sunday with a 5-point stance, and we get to grill Golic on a Friday. Stay with us. Golic and Wingo.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.